I'm going to go to this way so we can get to your question.
Thank you for your talk, Ryan. Often I hear the argument about interracial marriage brought up, saying that these same exact arguments were made, saying interracial marriage is dangerous for the children, for society. So how do you suggest we best show that there really isn't a comparison between the same-sex gender and interracial marriages?
Great question, and I'm wondering if someone put you up to this, because just yesterday I published a paper on this question. So if you want, you can Google my name. It's a 5,000-word paper just on the history of bans on interracial marriage and why they have nothing in similarity, either historically, philosophically, or theologically, with the near human universal view that marriage is a male-female relationship. And so the title of that paper was something like Marriage, Reason, and Religious Liberty, Much Ado About Sex, Nothing to Do with Race. And so here's the summary of what I found when I was researching this. The US colonies, Maryland in particular, was the first political community in history to ever ban interracial marriage. And the reason it did so had nothing to do with marriage. It only had to do with racism and perpetuating the wicked regime of race-based slavery. So in America, we had slavery. It was based, classified on race. And in order to perpetuate a class of human beings that were being subjugated as slaves, you had to keep the races apart. And so they redefined marriage to make it based on race in a way that marriage had never been understood to be, precisely so that they could avoid the creation of interracial children that would then make a race-based slavery more difficult. When slavery was finally abolished, we then perpetuated this with our Jim Crow system. We also had bans on miscegenation, bans on interracial dating, interracial marriage, again, trying to support a wicked regime of white supremacy. None of this had anything to do with marriage, though. And so if you look through the great thinkers in human history, whether it's Plato, Aristotle, Cicero, Augustine, Aquinas, Luther, Calvin, Locke, Kant, Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., whenever they talk about marriage, they always talk about male and female, husband and wife, mother and father. They never talk about black and white, because race has nothing to do with what marriage is. So if you go back to the first section of my talk this morning, when I was going through what is marriage, you never heard skin color or ethnicity or race enter into it, because it has nothing to do with what marriage is. So the bans on interracial marriage were unjust precisely because of what marriage is. But that's why defining marriage as the union of a man and a woman is just precisely because of what marriage is. A man and a woman can unite in the marital act regardless of their race. Children need a mother and a father irrespective of the parent's race. Marriage is about uniting the two halves of humanity, male and female, whereas racist laws kept the races apart for no reason at all. So marriage law has to be colorblind. It can't be gender blind.